Hello everybody, my name is Dusty and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the things that I picked up while I went home this weekend. Currently I attend university in a small town, which means that the closest pet store is within 20 miles of here, so I don't get to go there that often. But when I go home to Milwaukee, a large city, I have a ton of options and I can pretty much go anywhere and there will be a pet store. So this weekend when I went home, I took full advantage of that and I visited my local aquatic store. And while I was there, I discovered that they received a bunch of shipments of different kinds of aquatic animals and plants, and I honestly just couldn't even help myself. Right now, those fish are acclimating behind me, so I will show you them. So at this point, my goldfish tank is pretty much complete. I'm not really going to be doing that much with it. Obviously, you can't make goldfish communal. So this tank is primarily goldfish and shrimp, and then 2 algae eaters, just because they produce a lot of ammonia. The bacteria then eat it and produce a lot of other biochemicals. And we wind up with a ton of algae in this tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep those algae eaters in here until they become too big or too aggressive, and then I will move them to a cichlid tank. Now, in the communal tank, I picked up these grommies from my local pet store. They're a little bit light outside, so it's kind of hard to see them. But they're listed as fire big-lipped grommies, something of that sort, but they should only get about 2 inches long, so they'll go perfect in this tank. Now, something that happened over the last week that I really haven't talked about is some kind of infection swept through my communal tank and took out most of my corridoras, which was horrible, and I'm still kind of upset about it, but there wasn't much I could do. By the time I caught it, 3 of my corridoras had already passed away, and it was something that just happened overnight. And if you're in the hobby, you know that those things happen periodically. So it was really sad, but we're really powering through it. And that's why I'm focusing on fixing that communal tank. With this communal tank, I also picked up some live plants. I already have 1 live plant. I picked up 2 more, and I also picked up 2 other ones in there and some moss. But actually, now that we're talking about this, I think it's important I'll show you what I got. So in this bag, besides the moss and the 2 plants that I picked up, I also found a golden clam. In this tank, we currently have 6 longfin zebra danios. We have 1 Chinese algae eater, which will get about 11 inches long. I know that. I know they can become aggressive, which is why I already have a game plan on moving them. I also have 2 of those Chinese algae eaters in this goldfish tank. All 3 of these will be moved to a 100-gallon tank once they outgrow these tanks. I just need them to get a little bit bigger so they don't get eaten or harassed by the cichlids that they'll be with. The dwarf grommies, the reason why I got those for this tank, and I think it's important, this tank has black substrate with black decor and black fish in it. Everything is dark about that tank, besides 1 piece of driftwood. So I decided to get some color, throw it in there and see what happens. I was assured that they should be okay with the other fish. They were with Danios when I bought them, so I'm assuming they'll be fine since they aren't going to get that big. Again, I can only hope. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to plant the tank, and then I will put the fish in and I'll show you guys when I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and, wow, this is really crooked, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go ahead and aquascape it and I'll be right back. So, as you can see, I did get quite a few plants in here now. I'm not a professional aquascaper. I don't have a big understanding of what I'm actually doing. So this is all new to me, but I think that this kind of looks nice with the backlog. My whole idea here was to give them cover, so if they wanted to swim in the back, they'd be fine. Not having the experience of aquascaping, I think it's important that everybody recognize that this is my first attempt. I only had 1 live plant, 4 in here, and it seemed to be doing well. That's why I decided to get the rest of them. So we're going to keep going on, I guess. So I made the decision of putting the moss in that tank, primarily because I think the shrimp will appreciate having it in here. I just put it kind of in there. I don't really have anything to hold it down with, but I put it in there because the shrimp like to go inside of there. They picked apart and destroyed the last plant that was in there, so I'm hoping they don't do that with this, but if they do, it's not a big loss. It does look nice, but I guess we'll see what happens. So first we're going to go ahead and put the clam in. This is one of the ones I was most excited about. So this is kind of what the clam looks like. I'm going to see what we can do with it. I'm not entirely sure which one is up. I guess this is it. Looks like we're doing all three at the same time. Oh, and they are in. They look a little confused, but they're in. So I guess we'll go ahead and try to feed them. I'm going to be feeding them tropical flakes. The Danios love these. Oh, they're going and looking at the Corridora territory. Oh, they're eating. That's really good too. I probably should throw some more flakes in there. I only threw enough for the other guys. Oh, that's great. They're eating already. That's a really good sign. The one in the back is skittish. Today I got these when I walked into my local pet store and I was looking around. While I was looking, I knew I wanted to get something to add to the community tank, primarily because I thought it was really lacking that something. And I stumbled upon the regular dwarf gourami, and I said, I'm really curious. These are in here with the zebra danios. Do they get along? And the person behind the counter is like, yeah, they do. They can be semi-aggressive. They are listed as communal, but they can be semi-aggressive. So you just have to be careful. And I said, okay, then I guess I'll take one. They only get about 2 inches long. It'll be great for my community tank, considering that I lost so many Corridoras. And she said, well, you know, if you're going to get one, you probably get 3. And I was like, why? And she's like, well, generally because they like to be in groups of 3. And I was like, okay. So I wound up with 3 dwarf gouramis. That was more than I was expecting, but at the same time, I want to do what's best for the fish. And I think this will help me grow into the hobby more. I've been staying within my comfort zone. I wanted to breed guppies. I wanted to breed danios. I have my bettas and I have my goldfish, and those are kind of like the base level things that everybody has. So I wanted to move into something that not a lot of people have, and I don't see a lot of people with dwarf gouramis that often. So I jumped in and wound up with 3 dwarf gouramis in my communal tank. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they turn out, and I'm really excited to report to you guys how they turn out. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.